About now? Good folks. Kevin Dorsey in the chat. Don't come for me saying why I can't get the audio right. Theoretically, I just fixed it if you can hear me. So let me know in the chat if you can hear me. PK7 said they're talking about Coach Prime and God said no. That is not correct, sir.
Yeah,
that is not correct. Our celestial heavenly bodies have bigger concerns today than sports. There's a lot going on in the world. All right, sounds like they can hear us now. I don't know what happened, man. The thing wasn't doing the thing it was supposed to do, but I fixed it.
I tell you what, it was damn funny. It was damn funny.
I fixed it, but I want to get the blame. Like, gosh. That's just life. All right, let's start from the top. We didn't cover anything. We were just here saying what's up. People were like, "Hey, there's no sound," so it's like that.
You know what? It's funny you say that because I don't even remember what we were saying.
It was my usual rambling just to get my brain started. We didn't do any sort of show prep. We always just sit down and start talking. I do know what I was going to start off with, Neely. When we got off the air last week, we talked about food and Southern delicacies. What was the first picture that I sent you when I got home last week after our show?
Some crackling that was 85% empty.
Because it was crackling dust. It was crackling dust. And I tried to shame one of my family members for eating pig's feet this week, and I had to catch myself and said, well, I'm eating fried pig skin like it's vegan or something. So I had to quickly catch myself.
But did you use your remaining scraps to try the crackling cornbread though?
You know what, Neely? Full transparency. My idea was to make some crackling cornbread, bring it here, and eat it for the first time with you on air and with our community here. But I didn't replace the crackling that I ate to go and make it. So maybe next week, hold my feet to the fire. Next week, we'll debut my very first time tasting crackling cornbread right here on the pregame show. So we'll do that next week. Sound like a plan?
No, I love it, man. I'm not gonna hold your feet to nothing, but we'll.
A better question would be: did you finally wash off that red Kool-Aid on your hand?
You know, I did. It is it's gone.
All right. Gone. Good. All right, let's talk about some people that probably will not have to eat crackling or drink Kool-Aid. They might be more caviar and Gatorade and fizzling water and things of such. Future NFL employees, if you will. Shedeur Sanders has been in the news this week. They had the Shrine Bowl, the East-West Shrine Bowl, All-Star. Guys who can play football who are putting on for the Scouts. He was there, had a lot to say, chose not to participate in the actual game. He's put enough film out there. You can see what he can do physically. I know you have been keeping up. What did you think about the week Shaduer had talking to front office people? A lot of media time for him and the things that he had to say.
I think he proved what he needed to prove. You know, everyone has seen him play. They know he is a master at football, master at running an offense, master at reading a defense. What they wanted to know is just a little bit more of his personality and his football acumen. And so when you go to those invite-only bowl games, you get the time to spend with the GM and the player personnel and the scouts and even position coaches where they put you in front of the whiteboard and while small talking about your family, ask you to diagram this play or what would you do in this situation. So he was able to prove not only does he have a high football IQ in the locker room and in the film room, but also that he can take the Q&A well. I think all the teams he met with were blown away by his personality, his forthcomingness in answering questions and dealing with hard-hitting things, subjects, did not back away from parental involvement, saying, simply put, I thought it was a good thing for your parents to be involved in your life with raising a child. So
I didn't understand that line of questioning.
He just absolutely nailed it. And even the top three teams, as far as picks in the draft, all said you shouldn't be playing anyway. Like, so they're not mad at you for not participating. They know your football abilities. What they want to know is get to know you as a person. And I think what they got to know actually moved his stock up, if that's even possible. Because he'll be gone in the first 5 picks, just depending on which team wants Travis first or not, or vice versa. But I think Shedeur Sanders, as well as everyone there from that Colorado contingent, Colorado had the most players from any team at the East West Shrine Bowl, and all of them improved their draft stock.
Who would be your Colorado sleeper, if you would, of the elite players who are eligible for the draft? Maybe one that's, I don't want to say sleeper, meaning that it entitles, they lack any skill, but maybe one guy that you think will make a bigger impact than maybe people might be giving him credit for right now.
Will Sheppard, wide receiver Will Sheppard. Will Sheppard came over to Colorado from the SEC from Vanderbilt. Due to no fault or inability of his own, may not have had the yards per game or catches per game that people were anticipating. But some of the plays and catches that he's made there at the East West Shrine Bowl during practices, the game will be taking place today, were just blowing scouts away at his ability to go up and get the 50-50 ball, one-hand catches at the back pylon, his route running. I think he absolutely, caused some people to wake up. I think there were some affirmations and confirmations for LeJontay Wester and Jimmy Horn Jr. People, already knew about them and what they were capable of, and then they got to see it in person in real time and how they practice. So I think that helped them as well. But if you ask me about a quote-unquote sleeper, I think Will Sheppard is the one who went from slept on to wide awake.
All right, Sports Talk with B. Watts agrees with you. He has Will Sheppard as his sleeper. Hello to everyone in the comments. Thank you guys for hanging out with us here on the Pregame Network. Always a lot to talk about in Colorado football and the game of life with two 50-plus-year-old dudes here living in America.
This show is worth listening to even when you can't hear
it. That's the fun part. What will Tolly mess up this week? At least, the lights didn't go out halfway through the show. We've had that before. We January was just rolling too smooth. It had to be a Tolly error somewhere along the way. So we got it out of the way early. Neely, I understand the criticism for Coach Prime, meaning that not everybody's going to like you. And some people are going to be jealous, and they're going to have their own interpersonal conflicts and feelings that they just express towards you. So I understand it from that standpoint. What I don't understand is trying to base that criticism in some other logic and misplacing it and not putting it back on you. This entire scenario of Coach Prime coaching his kids has worked for everyone. Coach Prime has been successful. His kids have been successful, are now in a position to make it to the NFL. And America was entertained throughout the process. People were elevated into positions. Former players got into coaching and kind of refound that spark and energy that they might have been missing. So many people have won. Local economies, we've talked about it across the board. If you're still fishing for some level of criticism, Neely, at this point, how do you not understand that's not a winning hand?
It's almost like betting against Patrick Mahomes. How many times you got to win before you start betting on them? Like, what else do they have to prove that they are winners and they're successful at what they do, and the outcome always turns out, in their favor? People try to make, as you've heard me say it before, Tyler, I call it the prime tax. Anytime you are affiliated with or close to Deion Sanders, there's a tax on your head that comes from the haters from just being successful. Everybody doesn't love a winner. Everybody doesn't like to see someone on top, whether that is them themselves, their children, their staff, or their friends. That is just part and parcel of it. But you even see that ripple effect, to his kids early on in this draft process. When we got to December bowl games to now, you saw the watering down of what Shaduer was capable of. And now he's back on the top again after spending time in the East-West Shrine Bowl. You see the same thing with Shiloh now, that everybody wants to put out, just quote-unquote bad practice clips, making low light reels, if you will, for a player when they're not doing that for any other safety in college football or any other player at the Senior Bowl or Shrine Bowl, but just doing it too shallow. It's again that prime tax you have to pay when you are a Sanders or affiliated with the Sanders. The hate is real, the hate is unreal. But one thing that's been proven is the hate don't stop the motion, and these guys continue to succeed and achieve in spite of it.
Well, one of the a part of the lexicon of our college football narratives and stories that we love is the father, son, coach, player. Like, that's like the college fairy tale. Dad, you look at the Mannings, you take your pick. Dad was a player. Dad coached them coming up. The son succeeds. Like, it's the American story. And look, they got plenty of love. There's more fans than there are critics. I'll just say that. But man, I really wish it would have truly been branded more widespread as a great American story, because that's exactly what it is, Neely.
Yeah, it's a great American story when it's white folks doing it. I'll just be frank. You've seen the presidency passed around like it's a blunt at a party. But anytime a black father is doing something to help his son, now it becomes nepotism and a problem. I don't have a problem with what the Ball family has done. Everybody said it was brass and uncalled for. It damn worked. I don't have a problem with LeBron James has done for his son. I don't have a problem with Deion Sanders has done for his sons and daughters. One thing that black men get knocked about and knocked on the head historically is about being absentee fatherhood. But you have brands out there like, Father Figure Apparel who's promoting, good stewardship, good fatherhood. And you have men like the Balls and the Sanders and the James out there actually doing it. And then the world attacks them for it. But nobody says nothing. When a John Quincy Adams can be president and the Bush can be presidents, and the Bush family with the beer can give it to their children, and the Walton family can give Walmart their children, but you let a brother give something to his kids, now it's a big problem in America, and that is all America has been based on is capitalism and keeping it in the family. But all of a sudden, there's something wrong with it when a brother's doing it.
Well, my mama gave me the light bill in my name, and I carry that on. We working on it, baby. We are working on it. You talk about some of the criticism. I just laughed at the beginning of the week. Neely, I heard people on national outlets trying to suggest that Shedeur Sanders suddenly couldn't throw the ball. Like there was some lack of velocity or touch, or questioning could he. I was like, what game were you watching was I watching a different game during the year? Am I on parallel earth?
Throughout the history of invite bowls, throughout the history of NFL Combine and your own pro days at your own schools, the top caliber people in each of their positions have been known to forego doing certain workouts or not working out altogether. And it could be because a nagging injury. It could be because the only thing they can do is potentially hurt themselves, not only in injury while performing, but someone trying to make a name off themselves on the other side, coming a little too fast and too hard. No Diddy, big pause. And so you just look back at athletes across the board. This is nothing new to have a player sit out for a workout. Some guys go to the combine, and because the 40 is their best thing, that's all they do. Some guys go to the combine and because the bench press is the best thing they do, that's all they do. But the one thing that they have is their film, their accomplishments, their records, and then they have their interviews with the one-on-one teams, because some players know, like, hey, I'm going in the top three. Why sit here and interview with all 32 teams and perform for all 32 teams? Let me spend my time with individual stuff with the people picking in the top three. But again, the minute somebody with some pigmentation does what's always been done, now it's because of something is wrong, or they can't throw, or they can't compete. When it has been the standard in these invite bowl games, has been the standard for the combine and pro days since they all started.
Well, Neely, we can't have these DEI quarterbacks out there, man. That is just going to wreck the NFL. If we get a DEI quarterback out on the field, it's just cancel the league.
Yeah.
Travis Hunter. And this is important that you talk about this time of the year, staying healthy. A producer that I work with was producing the Polynesian Bowl, this high school all-star football game in Hawaii last weekend, or no, weekend before last. And Travis Hunter was there. and he was watching. He was on the sidelines, and somebody had scored a touchdown or something. Travis got all excited, ran out on the field, and slipped, trying to go celebrate with the players. And there was like this collective, like, hold your breath, like, oh my God, is this a moment like what's my guy from Good Times that was supposed to be on the Chicago Bears?
JJ and Keith.
Yeah, Keith. Like, you blow your knee out like Keith and your career is over. Like, you've got to really protect yourself this time of the year. Injuries can happen anytime. You could be just watching a game and run out on the field celebrating and fall, and things could take a literal turn for the worse. So you have to protect the bag this time of the year.
I think you got to protect it all times of the year, but football players, are football players, and they don't see things, through the eyes of a manager or surrogate like you and I do. And so Travis Hunter was just simply being himself, going out to celebrate as an honorary coach for a game he played in. And, by an inch or two, it could have been disastrous. So who knows? Even by an inch or two, could have been no harm, no foul with the two caliber athletes that almost, made that kind of contact with each other. But it's just hard to get a guy to not be a guy. Like, they're going to be themselves. Of course, when they sign their NFL deals, there'll be clauses, about no motorcycles and no scooters and no hang gliding and that kind of stuff. But up until then, man, it just is what it is. Dak Prescott got elevated his rookie year because a quarterback stepped off a curve and broke his foot. Weren't even at a game. Like, things can happen at any time and anywhere. But these guys also, through the diligence of Coach Prime and their handlers, have exceptional insurance policies to get them to and through signing their contract. So, I feel you, Tolly. I saw it as well, but I'm not worried about it.
All right, Neely, you're going to have to give me documented visual proof of a brother hang gliding. I'm going to need to see that. Not in the history of my 50-year-old eyes have I seen a brother hang glide.
I ain't either.
So that clause may be in there, but I'd have to see that one. I think that one's going to be at the bottom, hang gliding. Speaking of 50-year-old eyes, Neely, I was a little late coming over to the studio, which might be part of the reason why the first 2 minutes of the show didn't have any sound. I was late because I was looking for my keys. I spent about 45 minutes looking for my keys. Neely, do you know where the keys were?
I hate to say this to you, Tyler, but as it is with everything that is lost, you always find it the last place you look because there's no need to keep looking after you find it.
They were in the trash can, Neely.
How did that happen?
I got home. I knew the keys were in the vicinity of my house because I successfully got home. And what I did is I was cleaning out the car. The kids had breakfast. Took the little Starbucks bag and just put all the trash in the bag. And for some reason, I put the keys in the bag. And then I threw it away and spent 45 minutes looking for it. And it leads me to believe, Neely, that it's going to end like this for me. We all have our day and time that's coming. I'm going to be walking down the street in a bathrobe, no drawers, in my neighborhood, Neely, where they like to, have the dogs wear seatbelts, and they're going to call the police on me, and I'm going to say something spicy, and it's just going to end for me right there. Lost walking up the street in my bathrobe. I threw the keys away and had no idea where they were. My brain is quickly leaving me, Neely. As a fellow 50-plus, do you have brain malfunction at a higher rate these days than before?
Absolutely. But before I give a specific story to the admission, I got to ask you, what made you check the trash can?
It was the only thing that I could remember. I said, I remember throwing away stuff in the car. Let me look in the trash can, and there the keys were. I went in and told my wife, and she would not even look at me in the face.
Oh, that's most nights. Don't blame that on the keys.
True.
Yeah, I've gotten up from the couch to go get me a cold glass of Kool-Aid, and I come back to the couch with my Kool-Aid, and now I can't change the channel because I can't find the remote. And I retrace my steps, and the remote is in the refrigerator with the Kool-Aid. I just traded them out. And then my favorite one is when you get up and go to the kitchen and you stand there for a second going, now what the hell did I come in here for?
That does happen. It's kind of scary. Neely, I was checking out my son from daycare the other day, and when I check him out, I got to punch in a four number pin, 4 numbers. Punch it in every day. Have done it for 2 years. I got there and I couldn't think of the number. Like, I do it every day, and I just got there and my brain was like, I have no idea what the number is. And I guessed and I poked around, and I got 3 of the 4. And finally I just had to ask, what's my PIN number, please? And it was kind of scary, man. Some days my brain is just not cooperating.
I've had that happen with the iPhone and trying to do some work, and all of a sudden I can't remember my code. And then you get that warning, like, if you mess this one up, you're going to be locked out 30 minutes. Sure enough, I messed it up. Then 30 minutes went by. All right, if you mess this one up, you're going to be locked out 2 hours. And that shit went on for 4 days. I couldn't get
Neely, I feel so much better now. I thought it was just me.
It ain't just you.
I thought it was just me. Me. I'm looking in the comments. All right, Peter's with us. Shirley's with us too. But I gotta admit, those names do sound kind of old. Peter and Shirley. There ain't no young bucks out there saying Peter and Shirley. All right, so
Barbara, this is Shirley.
Barbara and Shirley. Yes. All right. Speaking of old guys, Jerry Jones did not hire Deion Sanders. Did you give that any chance? Did you think it was just fun? Now that it's not happening this season, what was your takeaway? What was your thoughts during the whole process? Or was there a process?
It could have happened, and I don't think it was just for hyper leverage on either part. There was a sincere conversation that took place, and I would also say to the world and just remind everybody to listen closely to Deion Sanders, to Coach Prime when he speaks. He never said he wanted to coach in the NFL. He never said he wanted to coach the Dallas Cowboys. What he did say was, I'd be very interested in coaching my sons, plural. And because the draft hasn't taken place and because Coach Prime hadn't signed an extension, I'm not going to sit here and play like that's still not an opportunity in the here and now. It's certainly an opportunity in the future, but there's still a potential reality for it now, because who knows who drafts Shaduer, and who knows if a couple of rounds later they draft Shiloh. Who knows if that same team that does that calls up Coach Prime and say, hey, how about you come coach with us? All of that is still in play.
Neely, some of the conversation was, hey, what Coach Prime does with his personality and his ability to just come over and, take over a town works perfectly in college football. But the NFL is rigid and, you just can't do that. Could he, just hypothetically, me and you having a conversation here, could he have an impact that would make anybody look at the NFL differently, or would he have to adapt anything of himself to fit into an NFL coaching environment?
The temperature in the room changes when Deion Sanders walks in. The room doesn't change Deion Sanders. And I think that people may have a way they do things, but I don't care if it's lobbying in government or running of nonprofits and donations, or particularly businesses in capitalism. Your rules and policy, when money is involved, can quickly change. And the amount of money that Deion Sanders can make an organization, you may think you've always done it one way, but you're going to be very open to doing it another way when the prime effect is involved. So I think that whereas there are certain stances and leanings and things like that NFL owners are known for and GMs are known for, when you're talking about the impact of Deion Sanders, it's just like an AD at Colorado or the AD at Jackson State. They didn't manage or work with or work around Deion Sanders the way they do other coaches, because they know what a Deion Sanders brings to the table, and they know that he has a greater longitude and latitude and wiggle room than most people have, and that's because of what he brings in, and that's the bacon.
I would look at, if I was just kind of doing research as a GM, I would say, where was Colorado on the college football spectrum for the last 20 years? And I would, have a little bar graph, and it might be flat. It might have a little, it would be whatever it would be. You'd have enough data to interpret and make that graph have authenticity and be correct. And then I would look at what happened when Deion Sanders got there. And I would say to myself, if I could get even just a fraction of that bump for my franchise, how valuable would that be? And the fact that the record is a winning record, he actually does know what he's doing and knows football.
Absolutely. That's just part and parcel of it, that he knows football and can win. But a lot of these folks are in position that they were losing and losing money. Why not make money even if you do lose with his presence? So even if things don't turn around, it's going to be a financial win for you. He's proven that. But the fact that he also wins games and gets that attention. Look at this, Tyler. I got an alert right before you and I, started this live broadcast together. ESPN was promoting an article, saying, go read this. And they talked about the number 1 team in this category and the number 35 team in the category. And the 35 team was Deion Sanders and the Buffaloes. They didn't mention anything about anybody in between. They was like, hey, click this and you'll see where Coach Prime and the Buffaloes are here. Where does that happen at except for the Prime effect? Because they know, even though he was at the very bottom of this article, that he is tops on people's mind and wanted to click it. That's why ESPN and all the other talk shows discussed it so much when it was hot, and they continue to discuss it on sports channels that are not even covering college football, because anytime you mention his name and you put it in the search engine, you're going to get clicks, and then, in the words of Jay-Z, advertisers will give you more cash for ads.
I was watching one of the late shows. I cannot look, since Johnny Carson retired, I can't keep up with the names of which late show is the late show, the late show with one of the late shows with one of the white dudes. I was watching that one, and Deion Sanders was on, and man, he had three segments, Neely. Like, went to commercial break, came back, more Coach Prime. Went to break again, came back. I mean, it was like the Coach Prime show. I don't watch enough late night TV to know if everybody gets 3 segments, but I don't remember the last time I saw a commercial and it was like the late show with this college head coach.
No, you don't remember the last time, because the last time it was him. And so if you try to remember the last time it was anybody except him, you don't remember because it never happened. Deion Sanders, he worked the late night talk circuit as coach at Jackson State and sat there with a Jackson State jacket on, and just recently was Stephen Colbert's show, as the head coach of Colorado, because people forget this guy's not just a head coach. He's Deion Sanders' head coach. And so everything that he was before becoming a head coach still comes to the table with him. So he's going to be on magazine covers. He's going to host national talk shows with Roxy on Tubi. He's going to be featured heavily at the Super Bowls and the Pro Bowls because they're not just inviting who your head coach is, they're inviting Deion Sanders and everything he was before he was your head coach. So the value and the bump up that you get by hiring him or having him around or endorsing your campaign, you look at the number of commercials, product endorsement that he's been affiliated since coaching, whether it's, Jackson State or at Boulder, Colorado, just off the charts. And there's no comparison in college football, even with coaches who've won a national championship. You see Deion Sanders in more commercials than you see Nick Saban, and most of the commercials you see Nick Saban in, he's with Deion Sanders.
Facts on facts. You accompanied Coach Prime to Radio Row at the Super Bowl, right? My brain that throws away the keys is remembering that correctly, right?
Yeah, got another one coming up this week. Well, next week.
Okay. Take us back in time, Neely. What is it like being with Coach Prime on the media circuit when he's going here, he's going there, everybody wants to talk to him, everybody's reaction to him? What is that like?
I think the biggest takeaway from it is how much he is a celebrity to even celebrities. It was the same thing with attending the Hall of Fame with him. Everyone in the room has a gold jacket, but there's certain people in that room whose gold jacket is just a little bit more golden than everybody else's. And you see, again, these people, who are celebrities, entertainment gurus, Hall of Famers themselves, they all stop and migrate toward him when he walks in because he's head and shoulders above the others, even in the same category. So it's always interesting to see the folks, who look forward to meeting him. I remember on campus before a game in Boulder when Dr. J came to see him, and it was his first time meeting. Dr. J had no idea that he was Deion Sanders' hero growing up. Dr. J wanted to meet Deion Sanders even more than Deion Sanders wanted to meet Dr. J. And so when you're with him on these press junkets or media tours or radio rows at the Super Bowl or in Canton at the Hall of Fame, you really get to see, the ripple effect of the prime effect amongst his peers even is just as great there as it is in general society.
Neely, you're just a little bit older than me, man, so you probably have a few better memories. I came along, Dr. J first came into my life. He was teeny weeny Afro, Dr. J. Later in his career with the 76ers, man, I would have loved to have some vivid memories of the big fro, Dr. J. I mean, he was still bad as teeny weeny Afro, Dr. J, but
Yeah.
big fro, Dr. J. Whole different set of circumstances.
Yeah. Big Fro Dr. J with the red and white and blue ABA ball.
Yes, yes. I'll come along with the Bobby Cunningham, Moses Malone, Dr. J.
Yeah.
And Larry Bird gave him that work that day. Larry Bird called him an old man, got Dr. J out there fighting.
One of my favorite pictures that I have is not signed by either one of them. The picture of Dr. J and Bird choking each other.
Yeah. It was when Larry called him an old man. Get this old man off of me. So I'll show you, old man. Neely, you were with Coach Prime back in Jackson recently. What was that like for him to be back in Jackson and you get to see the reception, and what was the vibe?
It was surreal. One, first I have to acknowledge and give a shout out to why he was back here along with so many others. And that was for the memorial service for Lieutenant McGee, who was with Prime at Jackson State in Colorado and served in his security detail, passed away earlier this year and had his memorial service. So Coach Prime traveled in for that. But to see Coach Prime at Johnny T's, sitting in the seat that still says reserved for him, with the picture of him on the wall in that corner, which has been there since he was here coaching and since he left, to hear people outside of the restaurants or at the hotel, still excited to see him and wishing him well. Don't get me wrong, there's still some sore feelings, there's still some hate in the air, but love is most certainly greater than hate. And a lot of people, by the busloads were excited to see him back in Jackson. Sad for the occasion that it had to happen, but it was good to have it happen because he holds no, ill will or animosity toward Jackson State. It was time to move on and move up. And one of the things that you and I always talk about, Tolly, is that every time he's mentioned, even in the article I just referenced a little while ago, in the paragraph on Deion Sanders and the Colorado Buffaloes, it talks about his recruiting prowess at Colorado, which started at Jackson State. So he understands that the name Deion Sanders and Jackson State University are inseparable, going to be together for the rest of the time because that's where his coaching career started. And it was a good thing to see him back in Jackson, to see him smiling, and you could tell he was loving and soaking up the energy and the vibes, and he certainly loved being back, having some of that good old Johnny T's cooking.
I'll never understand why there would be any animosity there in Jackson because you continue to eat off of that time. Got a Celebration Bowl championship, like you still like everybody's still winning. I don't understand, but people will be people and they will do their peopling.
That.
I haven't read a lot. We talked about Travis Hunter a little bit, but I haven't read a lot lately about kind of his process. Look, he doesn't have to do anything if he doesn't want to. He is highly sought after. He won't be there very long in the NFL draft. But what is from your vantage point and your inside access, Neely? What is life like for Travis Hunter now, getting ready for the draft?
Took some time off to rest, first and foremost, when the season ended. But now he's back in the workout mode, getting ready, getting his body ready for these workouts, these individual workouts when teams call him up, which ain't going to be about 2 or 3 because he ain't going to be around long. Same thing, with what he's going to do for his pro day in Colorado versus the NFL Combine or what have you. So he's still in football mode and getting the best out of his body and making sure he's staying in shape. The Tennessee Titans recently announced, without saying a name, They said that they're not in the business of passing on a once in a lifetime player when a once in a lifetime player is available. So they're sitting there with the first pick, and Travis Hunter will be available when they pick first. So all indications are that the Titans will be taking Travis Hunter #1 in the draft.
Or they're letting someone know, if you really want Travis Hunter, you better call us because we'll take him, but we'll also listen. There's so much maneuvering this time of the year. And I heard Coach Prime say something where he really told his players, like, look, whatever you hear about yourself, positive, negative, in between, don't listen to it, because so much of this is just posturing amongst the teams to try to gain leverage on trades or, the game that you have to play when it comes time to picking players in the draft, the game that you're playing against your competition.
Absolutely. Other than this and last year, I probably worked 6 Senior Bowls in a row. And you hear it down there a lot. Like the people are standing around, they're in the hotel lobbies. When I say people, I mean scouts, player personnel folks, general managers. And you can almost tell who they're interested in by who they're speaking negatively of. So you go up to a guy at the bar and go, man, I saw you watching Tolly work out today. Like, yeah, I thought he'd be faster. I don't know if he's going to fit with us. No one's going to tell you how much they like somebody because they don't want somebody else getting them before they do.
Man, that's what I said about the ladies growing up. When they would talk about me, Neely, they really liked me. That was the way I approached it. I don't know how successful I was, but it kept me from getting a lot of hurt feelings along the way.
Well, to keep my competition away, I would make up a room about the chick. Her breath stank. That was just my way. I didn't want you to go over her house. It's mine.
She had 5 corns on one toe.
Man, so neither what y'all went out, man. You wouldn't believe the roaches over there.
That sounds like a classic Neely move. To say
how you keep the competition away.
Like to say what's up to the people in the comments. A little quiet today. Got Eddie Bush talking a lot over there. What's up, Eddie? Somebody needs to text Mama Tia because the rest of y'all are cheap down in the comments in the super chat. You should let Mama Tia know that we're on, because we can't count on the rest of you to support our crackling habit. Our crackling habit, not our crack habit, our crackling habit. So, y'all step it up. Step it up down there. I'm just kidding. Not really, but yes, just kidding. Neely,
I like your snow bunny hoodie there.
Yeah,
I don't know, like this.
It looks kind of boulderish, right?
Kind of aspen or something. What's going on?
I spent about 30 seconds in my closet figuring out what I was going to wear. I started to get my other Puma sweatshirt, but you all talked so bad about me last week and called it, what'd you call it? Kuma? Kuma. Y'all said I went to the flea market. I've been shopping on Temu. So I picked this out because it looked kind of snowy, and I figured you would say something. So mission accomplished.
Yeah, no, it's attention grabbing. Probably not the attention you want, but it's people will remember it.
Eddie Bush says, "Hey y'all, I'm a lady, by the way." Eddie, I'm sorry about that.
I know some female Eddies, some Eddie jeans.
Maybe it's Edie. I don't know. But
I know some Eddies, and I know Eddies. Some Eddie jeans.
Miss Bush, we apologize.
Eddie Marie.
You just never know. Miss Bush, we are so sorry. So sorry. See, there it is right there. That is it right there, Neely.
What was that? You forgot?
Yeah, I forgot. Miss Bush threw me off. I had my next comment queued up. Miss Bush threw me off. And she does want she wants to come check out a game, Neely, so she's looking for the best hotel.
I would look outside of Boulder, like Westminster, Longmont. I would look in the Boulder suburbs. Everything's in the Boulder city limits. It's what Tolly and I call the black tax, not the prime tax. It's like Essence Fest in Boulder. Everything goes up triple the closer you are to the campus. But most of the communities surrounding Boulder are just about 5 or 10 more minute drive, but you can get a room for a couple $100 cheaper. So Check out Westminster, check out Longmont, places like that, not just the Boulder City Limits for hotels. So widen your search. And if you really want to save and just drive 15 minutes further, you can even stay in Denver.
Oh, all right. Good to know. Good to know. If you need travel advice, Neely is the man. All right, here's what I was going to ask you. It has come back to me. I see more diverse content on the Pregame Network. And Neely, morning run?
Yeah, morning run. We decided to add a morning show. Myself, Big Dog Chico, and Deuce the Scoop Monday, Wednesday, and Friday morning. Decided to just add about a 30, 45-minute show in the morning to talk about what's the latest and the greatest and the hottest taking place in sports, not just college football, not just Boulder, but NBA, NFL, golf, you name it, whatever is hot right then. We're going to talk about it, such as Brittany Griner going to the Atlanta Dream
Yeah.
and the impact she may or may not have on Magic City. We discuss it all on the morning run.
I didn't think about that as an angle, but okay. She's married, though. She's married. She's not going to be in Magic City. She's married.
I think Magic City was built for married folks. What are you talking about?
I don't know. I've never been. I've driven past it. I've heard they have great wings. I've never been inside.
I bet when you drove by it, you drove real slow too.
Not really my thing. I'm too cheap, Neely. I'm too cheap. I am too cheap. Here's $1 for you.
You're not cheap. You got a man to go to Chick-fil-A every day ain't cheap. Here's
$1 for you. No, I'm too cheap for my own pleasure and enjoyment. I'll spend all my money on my family, but when it comes to me, I'd be peanut butter and jelly every day. And if I was definitely passing out some dollar bills, it would be, here's one for you. Can I get some change?
you wouldn't be in there long.
No, that's why.
No, you might be in there long. You're just going to be in there alone.
Yeah, I can tell you, out of all the places you might catch me, that in Atlanta, that would be on the back end of my bingo card. But if you bring me some of them wings, I've heard the lemon pepper is popping. Neely,
next time I'm in Atlanta, I will stop by Magic City just to pick up you some wings. I may be late delivering them, but I will stop by there just for you.
And if those wings got some funny looking sauce on it, Neely, I am not partaking. If they have glitter, I'm not. Can't do it. How many shows right now are you? Do you have Michael Strahan beat right now? How many shows are you appearing on per week?
I'm trying to beat Strahan, and I'm trying to beat Stephen A. Smith. I've told you before, Tolly, as we talked about expanding the blueprint and the footprint of the Pregame Network, that it was not just going to be the pregame show, which covers everything Coach Prime during the football season, but it's 7 days a week, and you got a morning and afternoon. That means there's opportunity for 14 pieces of content. Why sit around and let ABC be on all day long nonstop, and we're just on once or twice a week? Oh, no. We got stories to tell, and we got excellent content creators and storytellers out there. Let's expose them to this 115,000 plus and growing subscriber and membership, and see what sticks and see what people like. So I say again, in 2025, if you're a content creator out there, if you got something that you like to talk about, that you're passionate about, and it doesn't just have to be sports, come on under the Pregame Network umbrella. You can email Tolly Carr. You can email me. Let's get in where you fit in.
I love it. I was thinking about, man, like bringing a stove in the studio here, and me and you can just like cook up crazy food and talk while the food is cooking, like crackling cornbread and pickled pig feet and any other thing, and just
I was about to say, let's see how the crackling cornbread segment goes next week, and we'll build on it from there. The name of the show will be What's Cracking.
There you go. Leon says it's only blue cheese. LOL. Leon, I don't have time to figure out if it's blue cheese or not. No.
No, if you gotta ask a guest, just don't put it down.
No, I cannot do it. We've had these conversations in the work that I do, and I'm always looking for $1. My cheap behind. I'm always out there dealing with different people, different platforms, and nearly the streaming game, even established broadcasters. It does not guarantee that you're going to have success. The streaming field is as wide open of a lane of communication and commerce in a time as it has ever been. And why not you? Why not us? And the barriers are how hard do you not want to work?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you nailed it. I have had some conversations. I don't want to call them interviews, but just some filling out process and conversations with some people about joining the pregame network. And one of the things that kind of runs them off, if you will, is consistency, because the work has to be consistent. We may be lacking sound or something or
I
an
knew it.
internet thing,
I
but
knew it.
most Thursdays you're gonna find me and Tolly right here. A lot of people want the outcome of work, Tyler, but they don't want to do the work. They want the sizzle, but don't want to go out there and slaughter the cow and get the steak and get it on the grill. They just want the after effect of it. So that's why I challenge people, man. You got to be consistent. Got to love what you're doing. Got to be passionate about it because it may not look like a full time job as a 9 to 5, but from a passion and energy standpoint, it's more than a full time job because you own it, and working for yourself can be challenging.
All right, we'll end on this little story time as we usually go about an hour here on Thursdays. Tell us about the song that kind of changed, kind of made you rethink, rebrand a little bit. Give if people haven't heard, I mean, all the way from the part where you didn't even realize it was in your inbox, the song.
Yeah, it sat there for a minute, and then I noticed there was an attachment on it. And one day I said, let me play this and see if this file is. And supporter SB Warden sent in a wonderful song and said, man, we got to adopt this and make this the network theme song. So I put her music and lyrics with a video, and we'll be using clips of it throughout the fall and then updating the clips because I think the lyrics stand the test of time and really speak to what this network is about. And Tolly, get this. April 26th will be the 4-year anniversary of the first upload to YouTube. Interviewed Coach Prime in his office at Jackson State, uploaded it to YouTube on April 26, 2021. So we're about to be 4 years old in about 3 months.
Wow, congratulations. It has been quite a ride. Glad that I've kind of had a front seat, back seat, sidecar, depending on what week it was. Been rolling along with you. That is so awesome. Congratulations to you, Uncle Neely, my brother. And for people who haven't heard the song Neely, this ain't a rap song. This ain't a hip hop song. This ain't an urban song.
It's more country western. And just scroll down through the video page, and it's posted there. And you can press play and hear it. Catchy tune with some great lyrics.
I mean, Neely, you're transcendent, brother. You are true to your community, but you appeal to all.
Well, I will tell you this, in the words of Mama CB, my grandmother who lived to be 103 from McGee, Mississippi. If you ever see a turtle on a fence post, you know he didn't get there by himself.
That is true. How did the turtle get on the fence post?
Somebody had to damn help him because he can't climb up there.
No,
so where you see me sitting, a lot of people helped me get here.
Has our friend Chuck Charles Bishop reached out to you directly? He tried to slide in our comments last week, acting like he was just a random dude.
That man came in the comments acting like he was about that business, and me and you ain't heard from him since then. Like he was just shining, as old folks say.
Come on, Chuck. Reach out, man. Call us, Chuck. We will happily speak to your class, which is what he asked us in the comments, but not.
I did see Chuck this weekend. Attended Jackson State basketball. I think it was Bethune-Cookman, yeah, because FAMU was on a weeknight, so it was Bethune-Cookman on Saturday night. And Chuck was with your broadcast partner and calling the game on the SWAC Digital Network. Of course, I couldn't hear it because I was in the arena. But him and Santorius, I think is his name.
Yeah, Santoria, yeah.
Yeah, they were calling the game on the SWAC Digital Network. So shout out to Chuck for doing color commentating, or maybe he's doing the play-by-play. I'm not sure on the SWAC basketball.
He probably did color. Santoria does play-by-play. He was probably on color. Talking about Jackson State, I would say shout out to Coach Margaret Richards filling in big shoes to fill there with the Jackson State women's basketball program. A little rough out of conference. That happens in the HBCU community. You got to go out there, collect some checks, take a few on the chin. But man, Jackson State women, they're right there with Texas Southern, continuing to roll. It's always good when you have big time coaches with lots of success leave and the program stays on track.
Yeah, Tamika Reed left to go to University of Charlotte and is doing well over there. And a lot of people thought that women's basketball at Jackson State was going to need a year or two to rebuild, but the new head coach has hit the ground running. When Coach Prime took players with him to Boulder, probably represented maybe 5% of the total team. Well, when Coach Reed left, you probably had about 35% of the total team go with her. And so for what the new coach has done and just this one season turnaround to be competitive and to be winning is phenomenal. It shows what a bright future that she has in this space and in this conference. And went to the game, and it's a quality product and competitive product to watch. So looking forward to see what happens in the good old SWAC tournament, because nothing matters until you get to that tournament.
That's right, and it's going to be in Atlanta this year. I'll be there for every game. It's another one of those checks that I collect. So not that I don't like going to Birmingham, but the fact that I can go to the SWAC tournament each day this year and sleep in my own bed and throw the keys away in my own garbage can is going to be a blessing for me this year. So excited, and I think Atlanta will hopefully give the SWAC a little more juice. Like, just have some more stuff. Take the tournament up a notch.
And I think I saw where there's a end of the season tournament in Charlotte for the HBCUs, the best of the best kind of playing each other from men's and women's basketball.
Yeah.
I saw that being promoted.
Yeah, they did. They do have that. So look, man, there's about 10. If you want to get into postseason play as a college basketball program, there is a spot for you if you're willing to take it. If you don't make it to the NCAA or the NIT, there are lots of programs out there. Alabama A&M and Norfolk State went to one of those tournaments last year and ended up playing each other and had another great game. So it's a great chance to get out there and get some burn. Speaking of getting some burn, we're at 3 o'clock. One last question for you. Any insights, anything you can give the people on off-season work, getting ready for the 2025 season, seen, heard? I know you're in Jackson, but you're always connected. What's going on with the team?
Yeah, we're still covering the team. Terrace Harris, student in Colorado, our intern, has been doing a lot of video work. They're going to be doing more during this month of February. So he's been covering the strength and conditioning workouts. Just had the military come in for what's called Buff Chaos to take the guys through some team building rigorous workouts. That'll be dropping on the Pregame Network this Saturday. Also, some more exclusive interviews with some of the new coaches, and new meaning not necessarily new from the outside, but coaching new positions in the building. So still going to always be, even in the offseason, exclusive, very current, updated, regular content on the Pregame Network, augmented by our live content as well. And I want to say to you, Tolly, that as you get more gray hair, forget where you place things, they have these keychains that when you clap, they make noise so you can find them. I'm going to get on Amazon and order you one.
It's like the clapper from back in the day?
It's like the clapper for keychains. You clap it, it starts beeping.
Oh. Right.
Yeah.
That could be useful.
No, for you it will be useful.
That could be. I mean, I hope my trash can isn't sound resistant, but if that's not the case, then I will gladly accept that. Birthdays in October, late Christmas present. I'll still accept Christmas presents in January, Neely.
Here's the downside. That boy of yours is pretty cantankerous. Once he learns that Daddy Keys make noise when he claps, he's gonna be clapping
all day long. Yes. That I thought about that. That was in the back of my head when you said that. But sometimes you got to pay. You got to pay the price to make up for your shortcomings. All right, we gave you a little overtime since I gave you 2 minutes of show with no audio. So there you go, folks. 60 minutes of fun with Tolly and Neely. Thank you so much for hanging out with us here on the Pregame Network. Shout out to our director, Miles, who did okay today. I mean, he did all right. He did okay. I saw that.
Was the sound on Miles? Is that who messed the sound
No, it was one of those computer things. And Miles is a Mac user, and I'm a PC user. So anytime the computer needs fixing in a crunch, Miles is of no assistance. And that's why I don't like Apple, and I don't like Apple people, because they act like they're too good to figure out what's wrong with the PC. They blame it on the PC because the PC is not an Apple, and they are of no help. They are terrible troubleshooters. They just point fingers and blame and sit there and look at you in silent judgment. So that's how
you really feel.
That's how I really feel. All right, everybody, that's it. We'll see you guys later. Neely, take care, brother. Have a good one. We'll talk to you a little later. And next week, stay on me. We'll taste some crackling cornbread right here on the Pregame Network.
And we'll be able to hear it cracking because the sound is going to work.
I guarantee. All right, see you guys. We'll check you out next time.